All right, everybody, this is an unscripted review. Just going to quickly talk about these Toyo Open Country CT tires that I just picked up for my truck a couple of days ago. Now, these are the commercial tire version of the Open Country Toyo tire. And I chose to go with the studded version because where I am frequenting these days is a whole mixture of nasty terrain, or not nasty terrain, but nasty weather. And it has a really bad effect on the roads here because the weather is, you could say it's bipolar because it goes from really cold to really quite warm for winter, goes below freezing, then above freezing, then back. So you get this combination of snow, melted snow and slush that turns into ice with more snow or water on top of it. And so it's really nasty driving conditions. And there's quite a few bad drivers in this area as well too, because we have multiple schools in this region, and we get a lot of out-of-state people who don't know how to drive. So being able to stop and maneuver is super, super important. Before I show you the tires, I want to talk about something that a lot of people overlook when they are looking at what tires to run in the winter. And that is that all season or all weather tires are not snow tires. All weather is better than all season by a margin, but it is not a true dedicated snow tire. If you want a dedicated snow tire, you need to do something that has what they call the 3-peak with snowflake on it. And I'll show a picture of that here so you guys know what you're looking for. If somebody's trying to sell you tires that don't have that 3-peak with the snowflake, they don't, and they're saying they're winter rated, like for all weather or all season, they don't really actually know what they're talking about. Now, as I mentioned, we're using studded tires. Sorry, I'm trying to fix the gimbal here. We're using studded tires on the vehicles that we use the most, which is my Ram 3500, which is a 1-ton truck, so about 8,500 pounds plus another about 500 pounds worth of gear in the back. And then on our Volkswagen Jetta. So these are our crucial vehicles. And then we have a Mini Cooper as well too. And that Mini Cooper, we just put a normal set of winter tires without studs on them, because that's usually just a sort of around town vehicle. That said, there is a big difference between how you can stop with studded tires and how you can stop with a winter tire without studs. The difference is probably about 50% on average, being with the advantage going to the studded tire. Now, I'm going to show you the truck tires that we put on here, and you guys will get an idea of what the tread function is and stuff from what I'm going to tell you. So I'll be right back. All right, you guys can probably hear a lot of wind noise. I apologize for that, but I am in the middle of nowhere right now, farmlands, and I had hoped to do a little bit more exploring, driving around, but came to the end of the road. So I'm a long ways from anywhere. And I'll show you. This is typical for where I live. It's pretty nasty. I call it the butt crack to the USA. But you can see we've got patches of dirt, we've got patches of ice, and so on. And actually, like right back here, if you look underneath this is a sheet of ice. And it is slipperier than a skating rink, literally. It's all polished. It's all polished because the wind and the chafing and stuff from the snow across it really digs into it. Anyway, these are the tires right here, and this is my first real big drive on them. And, you know, for the most part, I'm impressed. All right, you guys can probably hear a lot of wind noise. I apologize for that, but I am in the middle of nowhere right now, farmlands. And I had hoped to do a little bit more exploring, driving around, but came to the end of the road. So I'm a long ways from anywhere. And I'll show you aggressive. It's pretty nasty. I call it the butt crack of the USA. But you can see we've got patches of dirt, we've got patches of ice, and so on. And actually, like right back here, if you look underneath this is a sheet of ice, and it is slipperier than a skating rink, literally. It's all polished. It's all polished because the wind and the chafing and stuff from the snow across it really digs into it. Anyway, these are the tires right here, and this is my first real big drive on them. And, you know, for the most part, I'm impressed. I do think they need some siping down the center sections across here to give it a little bit more of that fine traction that you get. But you can really tell when the studs dig in if you're trying to turn or maneuver, because as soon as the truck leans onto that outside edge of the tire, those are biting in and grabbing. And you can see though, I mean, I'm still sliding. These are brand new tires, and you can still see there's like sliding marks there from the different surfaces. So they're not, you know, grabbing immediately. There's no such thing as a tire that will grab immediately in snow conditions like we have out here. Now, this is what I'm talking about right here. I want to show you guys this mountain snowflake. And I apologize that it's upside down, but it's this guy right here. So imagine that flipped over. That is the what they call the three-peak mountain snowflake. That actually reflects that this is a full-on winter tire. So it is actually properly graded for driving in winter conditions and doing as best as you can. Now, as I mentioned, this tire right here says CT on it. And there's a couple of things that make it a commercial truck tire. One being the compound of the tire, two being the construction and a heavier duty rubber that they use. So that's sort of the same thing, but in the same, not. So the durometer of the tire, the hardness of the rubber, is a little bit harder on this tire, and it contains a percentage of silica in it. Doesn't contain enough that the silica really acts to help with the traction on the ice. That's where the siping really would benefit the tire, stopping performance. If it had more silica in it, you would have a little bit better braking on ice, for instance, and the tire would wear a little bit more, but you would get that with a lot more road noise because the tire becomes so hard that it doesn't mitigate that noise and vibration. So what they've done with this light truck commercial tire that, you know, I'd say light truck, even though I'm using it on a 1 ton, but I mean anything down from like a full-on semi-truck. What they've done is they've given it a percentage of silica, and they've given it a harder durometer of rubber, and then they've given you the option of putting the studs in so that you can actually have better winter traction. So this is the tire that I'm running on the truck for the winter, trying to get out and do stuff. This place, I will say, is miserable for doing any kind of outdoors activity because it's so far to get to anywhere. But at least now with the truck, I can get into like the ski hills and stuff like that in as safe a manner as possible, because guiding a 1-ton truck down an icy hill is sometimes pretty exciting. And so you put studs and tires and you get the best you can, and you drive carefully. And you drive like you don't have winter tires on, you don't have studs in them. I'm liking the tires. They're actually pretty quiet. Even with the studs in, I'm not hearing them. I'm not hearing any road noise, and the truck is actually riding a lot better than it was on the factory tires, so far as I can tell. That to me is impressive right there, because the truck will ride like a board if it's just dependent on the suspension. But I'm getting off topic. So would I say get these right now? Yeah, I'd say check these out. And I'm really happy that one of my followers and commenters actually pointed out that Toyo makes these commercial truck tires. You know, I've been through a lot of tires in the last 7 years with this truck, and it's frustrating to always be dropping a couple $1,000s every year and a half on new tires. So here's hoping. These come highly recommended, and from both the shop and people that have run them. And again, take it easy, guys. Hope you guys find this useful, and we'll see you in future videos.